Welcome back, everyone, to this week's edition of Bogart on Movies, airing as usual right here on WXEL TV in gorgeous Palm Beach County, Florida. And of course, you can watch it anytime on your computer, tablet, or phone at WXEL.org. Just hit the Facebook or the YouTube icon. This week, we've got another great show, one big movie misstep and one you might have missed. For my pick, we'll look at the controversial 60s Chronicle Easy Rider, and we'll take a look at James Cagney at his criminal best in the wonderful White Heat. Top of the world, ma! All that plus Carla's Campy Pics and your emails. So let's get going. Last weekend I was in the mood for some laughs, so I decided to take in Hangover III. I thought the first one was a riot. Remember The Hangover?
What happened last night?
Am I missing a tooth?
Oh. Whose baby is that?
Check its collar or something.
I looked everywhere.
Nobody's seen Doug.
I don't think I've ever been this hungover.
What's on your arm? You were in the hospital last night.
The only important thing now is that we find Doug.
Where's your car, officers?
Oh, God.
I think it was just you guys and one other guy.
Was he okay?
He was fine. Just whacked out of his mind.
Oh, we were messed up.
And I even liked the second one. So I figured the third one. How bad could it be?
Is that Chow?
I'm out of my mind! My name's Alan and I bought a giraffe!
Where is he? Leslie Chow stole $21 million from me. No one can find him. Except you! They've been writing letters.
Hey, those are private!
Dear Leslie, OMG, the McRib is back. Why was it ever gone?
Exactly!
Doug is my insurance. He stays with me. You have 3 days.
Can you take Stu instead?
What are you doing down here?
Well, I got into cockfighting.
Oh, cockfighting. That sounds wonderful.
Oh, stay still! I'm trying to help!
What's wrong with those chickens?
They're angry. All I feed them is cocaine and chicken.
Well, the answer, my friends, bad. Really, really bad. Part 3 is about the Wolfpack getting together one last time and being forced by Marshall, a.k.a. John Goodman, to find Chow, who's just escaped from prison with Marshall's money. So Chow and the boys get together and then the fun begins. Or so they want you to believe.
Did you hear that guy? He will kill Doug, period. Chow is a cancer. He has been a cancer since the first day we met him. So we're gonna hand him over to this guy, Marshall, and then it's done.
Hey, Phil.
Alan, not now, but I need you, Stu. I can't do this alone.
Do what alone? We have no idea where he even is.
Phil.
What, Alan?
Well, I was just going to say, I got this strange email the other day. I wasn't sure what it meant, but now I think it might be from Chow.
Fatty, feels good to be out. I'm close by. Tell no one. I'll be in touch. Chow. This says Chow. How did you not know this was from Chow?
At the time, I thought it was Chow like goodbye. You know, like Chow, Arrivederci, Sabaro, Papa John.
I'm writing him back.
Whoa, wait. Just hold on.
I'm gonna tell him that you're happy he's out and that you'd love to see him.
Ooh, I would love to see him.
Now, there were a couple of chuckles like that one, but this movie is so bad that those few laughs are consumed by the mediocrity of the script, the mindlessness of it all. Poor Bradley Cooper. You can tell he's got so much talent, he stands out even in this, but he must just want it to be over. And the other guys, they're all back, but it doesn't matter. And worse, it goes from being plain not funny, bad enough for a comedy, to becoming incredibly offensive. Never mind the scenes of a poor giraffe getting his head lopped off. That's only the beginning. There was the shooting of dogs and the suffocation of a rooster, smothered to death by a pillow. I kept waiting for the punchline, but there was none. The animals just plain died. Not really, of course, as the American Humane Association watches out for the welfare of animals in movies, but it begs the question, who thought this was funny? Certainly not me. I give it a 1 out of 5. Don't bother. So, thoroughly discouraged after my Hangover III debacle, the next day I decided to take in a movie that I was hoping, please let me like it. It's one I really hadn't heard about called At Any Price, and I'm glad I saw it.
I have a nice-sized farm, family-owned for 4 generations. I am #1 in 7 counties, including Boone, Decatur.
Dad's got Decatur. Took it last week.
Took is a strong word.
I know your dad owned 200 acres. I didn't take it off your hands.
Get out of here.
I am
I
so
can't stand
sorry.
you kind of people. But I don't ever want to come back to Iowa. Where do we sign?
I'm gonna give you your own stake in the family farm.
I'm not staying here, Dad. I'm racing cars.
Why does he consistently disrespect me?
If I like what I see today, we'll give you one and only one shot. We've been investigating you and we got a tip.
Who gave you this tip?
We need to visit your fields.
Who could have done this? You didn't talk, did you?
Tell me who it was.
You ruined me. If they find out,
We'll lose everything.
I don't know what to do.
You're in trouble, aren't you?
Call off the agents. Call them off.
People, this is a really good movie. It's about a Midwestern farm family headed by Henry Whipple, played by Dennis Quaid. More about Dennis later. Who wants his son Dean, played by Zac Efron, to take over the family farm. Dean, however, wants to be a race car driver. Soon, a series of crises threatens everything they have and forces everyone, including father and son, to come together to save the family and the farm.
Yep. Hey.
Dean. Hey, Dean, that was amazing. Just amazing. Wow.
It's no big deal.
No big deal. Hey, get changed and let's all go out and celebrate.
Thanks. I got plans.
We'll break them. Heck, this is important.
Dad, I can't. I mean, I get these every weekend. Hey, you can have this one. Bye, Mom.
Bye. Good job.
Hey, Dean. I was proud of you out there.
Thanks, Dad.
We're going to argue, baby.
Come on, Henry.
This film has that classic movie feel to it. It is pure, down-home Midwestern American values, and that story is wonderfully told. The movie was written and directed by Ramin Barani, who, by the way, was born in North Carolina and raised and educated here. He has something, and the moviegoer gets it. As far as acting, Zac Efron was quite good as Dean, the rebellious son. A little too morose for me, and I never got why he hated his father so much, but that's a minor point. The rest of the cast were all good as well, but back to Dennis Quaid. This was his movie, and he has never been better. He was absolutely fantastic. In fact, it's the best acting performance I've seen so far this year, and I predict an Oscar nomination. I give this movie 4 out of 5. Go see it. You will not be disappointed. I'll be back in a moment with a look at a classic on Bogart on Movies.
It's an exciting time, but it's just the beginning.
I can do this. I can do anything.
This summer, PBS is the place for mystery.
An English woman has disappeared from the train.
I'm a good detective.
A single drop can kill a man within seconds.
For discovery.
The relics appear to be those of the Buddha himself.
And for celebration.
You are a party crowd, aren't you?
All year long, support the one place that can take you any place.
For this classic pick, we go back to the year I was born, 1949. I'm giving away my age, and one of the best of the noir films. It stars one of the biggest stars in any era, the great James Cagney. Here's a look at some of the original trailer for Warner Brothers' White Heat.
You won't get away with it, Cody.
Cody, huh? You got a good memory for names. Too good. How do you like that, boys? A cop. And I was going to split 50-50 with a cop. Now tell me you're glad to see me. Only say slow.
All I wanted was for you to come back. That's the truth. I love you, Cody. I love you.
You will love this movie. I love this movie. It's about Cody Jarrett, a ruthless, deranged gangster plagued by migraines, who loves his not very likable mother more than anything, which, by the way, spawns one of the great closing lines in movie history. Remember? Made it, Ma, top of the world. And this is vintage Cagney. Look at the prison when Cody Jarrett finds out his beloved Ma Jarrett is dead.
Ask him how my mother is.
Dead.
Hmm? Yeah.
That is so great. The movie co-stars the gorgeous, and I do mean gorgeous, Virginia Mayo and Edmund O'Brien. He'd later win an Oscar for The Barefoot Contessa starring my father. And another Bogey connection here. Director Raoul Walsh also directed my father in the movie that put Bogey on the map, High Sierra. And here's one. Walsh played John Wilkes Booth in 1915's groundbreaking Birth of a Nation. How about that? This movie is as noir can get. The excitement never stops. This movie never stops. The breakneck pace just pushes you through the whole thing from beginning to end. It's fun, it's entertaining, and it's just so neat to see those props from the old cars to the old stores and all that stuff from what, 64 years ago? Best of all, it's got the great James Cagney at his criminal best. Now it's time to dip into the Bogart on Movies mailbox. Keith in Miami Gardens sent me this. One of the clips on this DVD of some of Jack Benny's great TV programs is the full-length version of what I showed you the other week. My father actually acting out and singing the Lucky Strike cigarette commercial.
It was a lucky strike, all right, because Lucky's taste bad, hurting the fresher smolder. Lucky strike, lucky strike.
Keith says it was amazing the way your father had his script memorized, like it was never written. Well, Keith, first of all, thank you very much for sending me the DVD with my father and Jack Benny. I didn't have it, and it really means a lot to me. Second, even for something as silly as that Jack Benny bit, he treated it like any other acting job. He was a pro. He had a job to do, and he was not going to look dumb. It's amazing how actors can roll out what the writer gives it as if it was their own. That's why good acting ain't easy. And thanks again for the DVD. Lastly, Keith, you said in your letter that you attended the Bogart Film Festival in Key Largo last month, and you enjoyed it. I did too. I had a great time, and there will be another one next year. I'll let you know when, in Key Largo again. be sure to come up and say hi to me at the festival, and I'd love to have all of you there. Now, Dan in Delray Beach writes, I feel The Hustler was Paul Newman's best picture. Not a lot of argument there. It's my favorite because of the cast, and my father was in the background as an extra. What do you think about that? By the way, I've seen The Maltese Falcon 198 times and Casablanca 212. Wow, Dan, that's a lot of the stuff that dreams are made of. You're obviously a real fan, and because of that, just for you, we'll take a look at the great Paul Newman in The Hustler next fall. George C. Scott, Jackie Gleason as Minnesota Fats, great movie. I think I'll go home and watch it again tonight. And finally, in our I'm Not Perfect segment, I say to the very much alive Burt Bacharach, who I killed a couple of weeks ago, I paraphrase Mark Twain. The rumors of your death have been greatly exaggerated. Sorry, Burt. Love you, man. You can email me, send me your comments and questions to stevebogart@wxel.org and include your name and your hometown. A little later in the program, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite movies, Easy Rider. But first, Carla's cleverly picked one of Jack Nicholson's really early movies, and a really terrible one at that, called The Terror. The star of the 1963 movie was Boris Karloff. Jack had a few lines.
Come in. I surprised her in her room. She was not alone. With my own hands, I killed her.
Starring Boris Karloff.
Take this gun. Escort this gentleman from the castle. If he resists, kill him.
The Terror. His evil mystic powers go beyond man's wildest imaginings. The Terror, empowered to avenge, to reward, to transform.
I do love you.
Is she a blood and flesh beauty a man can enjoy?
I am possessed of the dead.
Or is she a gossamer myth, created by a madman's distorted desires?
Take your life as you took mine, and bring us together forever.
Join Boris Karloff, the Frankenstein monster of all horror motion pictures, in his most blood-chilling screen experience.
Even back then and even in this bad movie, Nicholson had that brilliant smile, those incredible teeth, that glint in his eye. You knew he was going to be a star, and he became one 6 years later. Stay with me. Coming right up. First, here's something a little bit different. Back in the 50s and 60s, a lot of people who would become megastars did commercials. They had to eat, right? A couple of weeks ago, I showed you my father singing the Lucky Strike commercial in the Jack Benny Show. Well, here are three more. The soon-to-be stars are pretty easy to recognize, but the products they're pushing, fluffo?
Hi, I'm Mike Wallace with a sensational shortening discovery for better baking and frying. It's Procter & Gamble's Golden Fluffo, the first all-new shortening in 40 years. It's rich. Its color is golden yellow, and what a pie it makes. Richer looking, better tasting, more appetizing. But let's hear what Mrs. Thelma Styra, Indiana State Fair baking champion, had to say about Fluffo.
I love Fluffo. It makes such a golden brown pie.
Oh, man, that's some apple pie.
Well, Mr. Wallace, that's a prettier pie than I ever baked with plain white shortening. And look how flaky it is. This yellow Fluffo is such a short shortening. Makes pie crust so rich.
Like cooking champions, get richer looking, better tasting, more appetizing results in everything you bake or fry. Get golden Fluffo.
With twice the ladder we feel so clean. It's better than leading bars with hexachloramine. You safeguard. With twice the ladder we feel so clean. It's better than leading bars with hexachloramine.
Coke time.
There's nothing like a Coca-Cola, nothing like a Coke.
What do you say we have dinner together?
Wonderful. Where?
Oh, someplace where we don't have to dress, like your apartment?
Coke time is anytime, anywhere. It's always time for ice-cold Coca-Cola.
Now, in case you missed him, it was a short 15-second spot. The guy in the number 46 t-shirt and in the shower singing about soap was John Travolta, long before Saturday Night Fever. And he was only in it for a couple of seconds, but you probably missed Jack Paar. Yes, the Jack Paar, in the Marilyn Monroe Coca-Cola spot, trying to get a date with Marilyn. But he struck out and had to go on to a fabulous career as the Tonight Show host. Well, once again, it's time for My Real Hit. And this time we're taking the time machine back to 1969 and a landmark film. It's been called a movie that really symbolizes the trials of the 60s generation. Vietnam War, hippies, communes, drugs. If you haven't guessed by now, I'm talking about that seminal counterculture movie, Easy Rider.
Used to be a hell of a good country. I don't understand what's going on with it.
Everybody got chicken, man. That's what happened.
Hey, you got a rope?
Hey, mister, can you tell me where a man might find a bed?
I never really thought of myself as a freak, you know? But I love to freak.
No, man. This is grass.
You mean marijuana?
Look like a bunch of refugees from a guerrilla love-in.
Oh, I just can't believe. What are they doing here?
I don't never know, but I don't think they'll make the parish line.
Hey, Lord, look at them goons.
Hold on, Simon. We'll scare the hell out of them. They're not scared of you. They're scared of what you represent to them.
Amen. All we represent to them, man, is somebody who needs a haircut.
Oh, no. What you represent to them is freedom.
What the hell's wrong with freedom, man? That's what it's all about.
We were born to be wild. We can climb so high. I never wanna die.
The movie stars Peter Fonda as Captain America, Dennis Hopper, who also directed as Billy, and featured a young actor just trying to make it at that time in movies, Jack Nicholson. Well, Nicholson ended up with the Oscar nomination, and the rest, as they say, is Hollywood history. You can also look for Karen Black, Bridget Fonda, Carrie Snodgrass, Dan Haggerty, and even Phil Spector. They're all in it. The film was written by Hopper and Fonda, along with Terry Southern, who, by the way, also co-wrote Dr. Strangelove. All three of them got Oscar nominations for the screenplay. This movie's a real look at one part of the turbulent 60s, the counterculture movement, the Vietnam War, and all the stuff that went with it. No matter what side of what issue you're on, we all lived it and through it, and we're all part of it. It's just a great movie, and I think it should be seen.